So here at Arctic, we do a lot of different kind of printing. We have digital printing, heat press, direct to film, which is called DTF, direct to garment, which is called DTG. But really screen printing, which is kind of an older form of printing, can't be beat on big orders, especially with simple designs. So I'm going to show you an order we're doing right now. You can see all these tote bags that are piles of tote bags. In this case, it's an order of a few thousand. And I want to show you the screen printing. Now, we could print it manually, one by one, but there's nothing like the power of an automatic screen printing machine, which is like the workhorse of the shop. So to get the real power of an automatic screen printing machine, you really need three people. Basically, you have a loader, unloader, and a catcher. Cody here is loading the blank, tote bag onto the pallet, and we're using a smaller pallet, and the pallet has a bit of glue on it. The reason it's got a bit of glue is so the garment doesn't move, because unlike paper, it can wrinkle and move and be a problem. Now, Arthur here, our very experienced printer, is just taking it off and putting it on the dryer. This is a infrared heater. This ink is wet right now, and it is not air dried. So basically, it will stay wet forever, basically. But the minute it goes through this infrared dryer, the ink kind of is like this, and it bonds together, and then it will never come out, especially if it's cured correctly. Like some shops will not have enough heat, or their dryer is too short, and you'll see if you have some t-shirts in your closet that are starting to crack, especially like white and black shirts. It could be kind of a cool retro or distressed look, but it's actually the ink is not fully cured. So we make sure the ink is fully cured. We actually once had one of our heaters broke inside the dryer, and we didn't know it. And this band that bought a lot of shirts and they were in the West Coast told us the ink's coming off, and we apologized, and we started calling screen printers over there, asking them permission for the band to come in and run their shirts through their dryers. And we found a friendly printer that actually did it. So a very important part of the process is the drying it, because that's what's going to give it longevity. So we have the loader, we have the unloader, and we have Michael catching the garments. Now, sometimes if you have like a small order, you just let it fall in the box. The ink is totally dry, so there's no problem with them falling in the box. If you start doing it with a big order like this, the problem is they're going to get wrinkles, it's going to be a big mess. So this system really works nicely because Michael's catching them, they're nice and flat. Because it's a big order, he's doing piles of 25, and later when we pack the boxes, it'll be easy. You just take 4 piles, you got 100 or whatever fits in the box. So that's all part of this kind of system that works really well. It's quite hot to the hand. It's almost too hot, but it cools very quickly down. But this is actually, talking about the graphics, it's actually a very good design. It's simple, but it's got a nice flow, and it looks very like personal. So I actually really, I'm not just saying because in the video, I really like this design. When you're doing graphics on t-shirts or on tote bags, you want it to be big and clear, and this is big and clear. If I'm walking down the street with this, you can still see the name of the company, but it's also playful, and it uses what I call negative space. So by having this, I'm assuming it's a tomato, it almost looks like there's another color inside of this. So it's nice use of negative space. Now, regarding the printing itself, even though the machine has what we call many heads, we can print several colors, we can dry the colors in between. This is a really simple design. So it's just one color. So we're really just using the last print head. This is print number 8. This automatic machine is the M&R Sportsman. It's a real like workhorse, and it's basically what you call an 8-10. So it's 8 printing heads and 10 pallets, which is the actual pallets we're printing on. Now, we just, Arthur and Cody set it up, so we just have the last printhead number 8. The nice thing is it's right beside them. If they want to, if it's running low on ink, they don't have to wonder about that screen over there It's right here, and it prints it. Now, the way the printhead works is it's got two elements here that are important. It's got, see, that's the coder. It's just a metal. Actually, I'm going to show you one. So this is it coats and takes the ink. The reason it's like this is so it can keep the ink inside. And that's the one on the back here. It basically coats the ink on top of the screen. So the one on the back was the metal coater, just a piece of metal. The one on the front is the squeegee that actually is pushing the ink through the mesh and creating the design. Now, this is basically rubber. This is a hard squeegee. You can see it's got one type of rubber on the outside, and inside it's got even a harder rubber to keep it solid. The nice thing about this is you're printing right on the edge. If it gets a bit worn out, you can flip it and use the other side. So like you got two squeegees here. And this is basically a simple print on a light color, so you don't need a lot of ink, so it's sharp. However, if this, let's say, was one color on black, you notice I'm very careful with this squeegee. I was going to put it here, but we don't want it to fall and get a nick, especially the coder. But anyway, if we were printing a light color on a dark item, we would want to lay more ink. We'd probably even have two screens, let's say, with white ink. We'd print white, flash dry it, and print another coat. But we also want to use a softer squeegee. See how this squeegee is even softer to the hand? And by being softer, it just lays more ink. I always use the same analogy of if you're going to spread butter or margarine on bread, if you use a very sharp knife, it will be a thin coat. But if you use, like, imagine doing it with a spoon, something rounded, you will lay a thicker layer. Because we're using a dark color and a light color, we don't have to lay a lot of ink. So besides using a sharp squeegee, we're also using a finer mesh, in this case around 160. If this was, again, white ink on a dark garment, we might have used a 110 mesh, which is coarser and allows more ink to flow through. Using screen printing in an automatic machine with 3 people is very fast. You can see that literally every few seconds, we have another tote bag printed. So there's, when you need real power, you use an automatic machine. I actually even had a supplier that, because I asked him, like, are all these digital machines actually hurting your business? And he said, no, it's interesting because some people come into the industry, they buy a digital machine direct to garment, and they start working, and then they get some bigger orders, and they're like, oh, we need something faster, and they go and they buy an automatic, which is something I wouldn't think would happen. But when you want power and you want speed, when you do big orders on garments, you use screen printing, automatic, 3 people. When I do big orders, it's an interesting thing. I find that there's something about, you hear that and the sound, and I almost get into, I almost get into this kind of zone. It's repetitive, and I find that I'm thinking of things and I'm going through the order, but it's kind of a repetitive motion. It's almost like, for me, it's almost a bit of a meditation. Other people have some podcasts in their ear, or they just focus 100% on the job.
Mindfulness.
So for you too, it's mindfulness.
Yeah, absolutely, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's way easier way to deal with this stuff. Otherwise, you go crazy. At least when we pay attention, you become one with the machine, whatever it is.
I like that. You become one with the machine. I like that.
Yeah.
It's actually, I remember the feeling, especially when you're doing a more complicated order, and you have a big order, and you're in the flow, and you're going, and suddenly there's a problem. Oh, head number 5, the screen ripped. And now it's like, we have to stop. We have to reshoot the screen. We have to reset it. It's just like, oh, we were going so well. But that's part of the process, right?
Right. Yeah.
Something about an automatic screen printing machine, it's quite a powerful machine. And safety is really important. So, for example, if I would go in to fix something there and I walk here, the pallet would really hurt me. I mean, that would be very painful and dangerous, especially if I lean down and hits my head. It would not be a good idea. So what they have here is these cables, and the minute, I'm not going to do it now because it's going to mess the guys up, but the minute this cable separates, the machine will stop. It's like emergency stop. So definitely around a machine like that, you definitely want to make sure you're safe and the people working with you are safe. And for the safety, where the operators are, we even have a metal bar so they can't physically move in there.
Arthur, come back, please.
Staying safe is very important. And the thing about the machines nowadays is they're very sophisticated electronics, and there's a control panel from which Cody or Arthur can control every aspect. Also, for safety, you have the emergency stop.
Yeah.
Oh!
Stop. Starts immediately.
Never stop the process.
Next of all for Cody.
Yeah.
Just explain about the control panel.
All right, so these are all your heads. You can turn them on, off, while printing. So that way, if we're doing multi-prints and we have to skip ahead, we can activate it, turn it off. We have our counters. Shows how much we've done, how many pieces an hour, and in total, how many we've done on the machine. And also,
Dry it.
yeah, we have our times for our flash.
And then we can stop now.
Yeah. We have dwell, so that slows down how often it switches the print. We have our flash time to clear the ink. So if we have multicolors, it goes through a flash, it's printed, flash, and
Okay.
we have our options here as well. So if we really wanted to, we could switch the way this rotates. We have it for large, so this spins slower. That's for hoodies or when we're doing sleeves. And we also have our multi-print. So if we need to do, say, one stroke, we can switch. We can do 2 strokes, or we can even do 3, however many we need. And that's pretty much it about this.
Can you go back to how many prints we did on this machine lifetime?
Yep.
That was fascinating.
Yeah, it's right here, the total.
1,585,665. Sorry, I'll say it again. So 1,585,665. So basically almost 1.6 million.
That's the total number.
So probably about 3 million prints on this machine. So when you think of the cost of the machine compared to what we got out of it, I always look to buy the best equipment if it's something I use all day, because the extra cost is really worth it.